Good day, everybody. The next feature which we are going to see is sales return order scenario. Creation of sales return order. Initial transaction ID of bank would be captured. Once that is captured, sales order would be created in the computer doctor purchase order management system. Once the sales order is created, all the details would be validated in the warehouse management system of computer manufacturer. After the validations are complete in the warehouse management system, ERP transaction would be validated and bank transaction would be validated. Once this prerequisite are created and validated, a sales return order would be created. The created sales return order would be validated in the sales return module in the inventory module of warehouse management system. Once these validations are complete, ERP receipt transaction is reversed or not would be validated. ERP payment transaction is created or not would be validated. Finally, the bank transactions such as seller performing a fund transfer and customer receiving a credit transaction would be validated. Let me quickly execute the scenario. So the scenario execution has begun. The computer doctor's initial bank transaction ID would be captured. The computer manufacturer initial transaction ID would be captured. Now automation test script would log in into the computer doctor's purchase order management system. Here a sales order would be created and all the sales order details would be retrieved. Now, the automation test script would log in into computer manufacturer warehouse management system. In the computer doctor's warehouse management system, it would navigate to the sales order module. In the sales order module, it will search for the sales order and it would validate all the details of the created sales order. Whether the sales order number is correct, product is same, unit price, quantity, and total are same are validated. Once the sales order is validated, it would navigate to the sales order item module. It would search for the sales order. It would validate the customer, product, unit price, quantity, and total. Everything would be validated. Once this validation is complete, now automation test script would navigate to the delivery order and delivery order would be searched and delivery order details would be validated. Now, the details such as sales order, warehouse, product, and movement would be validated. Now, automation test script would navigate to the inventory transaction. In the inventory transaction, it would search for the inventory transaction and verify whether the product, inventory number, movement, stock. Since it is a sales order, the stock has been reduced by one. And from London warehouse to customer has been shipped would be validated. Now automation test script would log in into the ERP application and it would validate whether a receipt transaction is created with the voucher number, amount, invoice date, ledger account, everything would be validated. So here a voucher number, amount, date, and the ledger number would be validated. Now, automation test script would log in into the computer doctor's account and it would validate the details, all the details, transaction ID, amount, everything would be validated. In the computer manufacturer's account, all the details would be validated, whether it is a credit transaction or not. Now, return of creation of sales return order has begun. Sales return order has been created. Once the sales return order has been created, it would log in into the computer manufacturer warehouse management system. It would log in into the sales order returns. Here, the sales order return would be searched and the details of the sales order return would be validated, such as the delivery order number, warehouse, product, movement would be validated. Next, it would navigate to the inventory module. In the inventory module, it would search for the inventory transaction. It would validate all the details such as a product number, transaction, movement, and stock, whether the product has been shipped from the vendor to the location, everything would be validated. Now application would log on into the ERP application. In the ERP application, it would check whether the receipt transaction has been reversed and a payment transaction has been created. Now, if you go to the receipt transaction, the amount is not present and it has been reversed. Now, automation test script could log check whether a payment transaction is created. A payment transaction is created, it would be validated. Now, automation test script would log in into the computer doctor's account and it would check whether a credit transaction is present or not. And now the compute now automation test script could validate whether a transfer has occurred from computer manufacturer. This is the report for sales return order creation, and all the validations are successful for this given set of data, and the test scenario has passed. This is the final scenario in the sales return order feature. The scenario is updating different product in the sales return order. So first, the bank transaction, initial transaction ID would be captured, sales order would be created sales order would be verified in the warehouse management system, ERP transaction and the bank transaction would be verified and validated. Once the prerequisites are met and validated, a sales return order would be created. Once sales return order is created, the created sales return order would be updated with different sales return product, that is this product. Once it is done, the sales return order would be verified in the sales order module, sales order item module, delivery module, in sales return module, inventory module. Once all the validations are complete in the warehouse management system, the ERP transaction would be verified, such as whether receipt transaction is reversed, payment transaction is created. Finally, the bank transaction, such as seller has performed a fund transfer and customer has received a credit transaction, would be validated. Let me quickly execute the scenario. So the scenario execution has begun. Initial transaction ID of the computer manufacturer and computer doctor are retrieved. Now the automation test script would log in into computer doctor's purchase order management system. Here, sales order would be created. These are the details of the sales order. It would be retrieved and this would be retrieved. Now, automation test script would log in into computer manufacturer warehouse management system. It would navigate to the sales order module. In the sales order module, it would search for the sales order and it would validate the sales order data such as sales order number, product, quantity, unit price, total, everything would be validated. Now, automation test script would navigate to the sales order item module. In the sales order item module, whether the sales order number, customer, product, summary, unit, quantity, and total price are correct would be validated. Now, automation test script would navigate to the delivery module. In the delivery module, it would search for the delivery order number. In the delivery, it would validate whether the sales order number is correct, warehouse is correct, product is correct, and movement is. Now, automation test script is in inventory module. In the inventory module, it is validating all the relevant information. Now, automation test script is logging in into the ERP application. In the ERP application, it would validate whether a receipt transaction is created or not. So a receipt transaction is created, which will be validated, such as all the details of the receipt transaction will be validated. Now automation test script would log in into the computer doctor's bank account and check whether a fund transfer has been made to the seller, that is computer manufacturer. This is the computer manufacturer account and the credit transaction is reflecting. Now automation test script would log in into computer doctor's purchase order management system and create a sales return order. These are the details of the sales return order. Now automation test script would log in into the into the computer manufacturer warehouse management system. It would navigate to the sales return order and it would update the details in the sales order. The initial product is Hitachi storage. Now it is updating to network cables. The product details has been updated. Now automation test script would navigate to the sales order module. In the sales order module, it will verify whether the updated product is reflecting or not. For so this is, it would validate the sales order number, the product. The updated product is not reflecting. The updated product is network cables. Here it is the Hitachi storage. Now it is navigating to the sales order item module. It would search for the sales order item and it would validate whether the product updated product is reflecting. The updated product is not reflecting. It is Hitachi storage. Should be network cables. Now automation test script is navigating to the delivery order module. It could validate the delivery order details such as the sales order number is correct, whether the warehouse is correct and product updated product is reflecting. Here the updated product is not reflecting. Now automation test script would navigate to the sales return module and in the sales return module it would validate all the details of the sales return order, the delivery order number and the warehouse product. Here the product is reflecting in the sales return module. Now automation test script would navigate to the inventory module and it would search for the inventory transaction. Here the inventory transaction is updated, the network cables is updated and the movement is 1 and stock is +1 from vendor to warehouse London has been shipped. Now automation test script would log in into the ERP application. In the ERP application, it would validate in the ERP application, it would validate whether a receipt transaction has been reversed. Here, the receipt transaction has been reversed, it is not present. Uh, Now it is validating whether in the payment report module, whether the payment transaction is created, it is created and it is being validated. Now it is logging into the bank application and it is verifying whether a credit transaction is reflected and now it is logging in into the computer manufacturer account and it is checking whether the this is the report generated for the executed test case. Let us review the results. In the sales order module, there is a product name mismatch. In the sales order module, the product is Hitachi storage, but in the sales return order module, the product is network cable. Hence, this assertion is failing. In the sales order module, there is a PDF invoice present where there is also a mismatch in the product name. In the sales order item module, the product is Hitachi storage, but in the sales return order module, the product is network cables. That's why this test case is failing. Yeah. In the delivery order module, there is a name mismatch. In the delivery order module, the product is Hitachi storage, but in the sales return order module, it is network cables. In the delivery order module, there is a name mismatch in the PDF which is generated. In the sales return module, there is a name mismatch. In the sales return module, the name product name is network cables, but in the delivery module, it is Hitachi storage. In the inventory module, there is also a name mismatch. In the bank transaction, there is amount mismatch. In the sales order module, the product name is Hitachi storage, amount is different. In the sales return order module, the product is different, that is network cables, hence there is a mismatch in the amount. Similarly, in the customer account also, credit transaction, there is amount mismatch. The next feature which is going to be demoed is purchase order. Scenario, creation of purchase order. Initial transaction IDs of bank would be retrieved. A purchase order would be created with this product name and quantity. Created purchase order would be verified in the purchase order module. Uh, it would be verified in the purchase order item module, goods receive module, and inventory module. Once all the validation in the warehouse management system is complete, in the ERP application, whether a ERP payment transaction is created for the purchase order would be validated. Once that is validated, whether the customer has performed a fund transfer in the bank application would be validated and whether the seller has received a credit transaction would be validated. Finally, the purchase order in the chip manufacturer seller sales website is reflected or not would be validated. Let me execute the scenario. So the execution has begun. This is the custom. Chip manufacturer initial transaction ID. This is the computer manufacturer initial transaction ID. Now, the automation test script would log in into warehouse management system. It would create a purchase order. Note here in creating the purchase order, identifying the objects were a challenge, those were all resolved. It would choose the customer uh, and it would create a purchase order. Here, all these objects were not identifiable by the automation test script, but these were all resolved. Now, a product would be selected and a purchase order would be created. Once the purchase order is created, all the created purchase order details would be retrieved. These are the details of the purchase order. All these are retrieved. It, now the automation test script would log in into the purchase order module. In the purchase order module, it would search for the purchase order and it would validate all the purchase order data such as the purchase order number, product, unit, quantity, and total. Everything would be validated. Now, automation test script would navigate to the purchase order item. It would search for the purchase order and it would validate whether the purchase order number, product, unit price, quantity, and total are correct. Now, the automation test script would navigate to the goods receive module. It would search the purchase order. It would validate all the data present in the goods receive module. This is a receipt module. So here the purchase order, warehouse product and movement would be validated. Now automation test script would navigate to the inventory module and in the inventory transaction, it would search for the inventory transaction and validate the product name, inventory transaction number, movement and stock. Since it is a purchase order, stack is increased by +1 and it is transferred from vendor to a warehouse, that is New York warehouse. Now application would log in into the ERP application. In the ERP application, it would verify whether a payment transaction is created or not and its detail. So here it would validate the voucher number, amount, date, and the ledger account. Everything would be validated. Payment method would be validated. Now it is logging into the computer manufacturer account and it is validating whether a transfer has been made. That is, fund transfer has been made. Now it is logging in into the chip manufacturer account and it is validating whether a credit transaction has been reflecting. Now it is logging into the chip manufacturer sales order management system and it would verify whether there is a. This is the generated report for purchase order creation and for the data set which is inputted. All the test steps has been passed and scenario execution is successful.